I'd like to request one thing to you for my own profit. Please don't skip the advertisement while you watching my lesson. Let's take it as break time. You guys love 쉬는 시간, right? 쉬세요. You guys love it a lot. I know that. If you watch whole advertisement without skipping, it means a lot to me. I don't know how many advertisements in my videos, but at least one advertisement in the one lesson. Please watch it fully. I will really appreciate it. Thank you. Hello, it's me, Dexter. This unit is 5, 문화유산. So, 유산. I like the vocabulary. So, unit 5 is like a cultural heritage. So, it comes from the history. So, usually it deals with the historical things, place, something like that. So, vocabulary is gotta deal with the heritage, and usage is just easy. Like you have no idea about how much it was. So yeah, it is like a paradox. I do like it, I do know, but say that you cannot understand it, and I don't know, something like that. So it is a paradoxical way to speak. And 등지 is AOB, and activity and culture. Here, the culture is 아리랑. Yeah, I think the most important thing for your test, number one item is 아리랑. If I make the question item, at first I gotta ask about what is 아리랑, but I will not handle it deeply because it is so important, and you guys are level 4 and you guys already knew can read the textbook on the 아리랑. Furthermore, the reason I'm not going to dealing with 아리랑 is like this one, like the Beatles song Let It Be. That is a legendary song. So I don't want to invade, I don't want to ruin your feeling to the 아리랑. Just you listening and that you're feeling. That is the 아리랑's feeling. As a teacher, yeah, under the name of teacher, I don't want to steal, I don't want to ruin, I don't want to invade your feeling of understanding 아리랑. 아리랑 is 아리랑. Like that. So if someone asks, what is the meaning of let it be? Let it be is let it be. Let it be, let it be. What else I can explain more? Same thing. So 아리랑 is a traditionally there was 아리랑, but nowadays like a BTS and so many new singer, they reinterpret the 아리랑 also. So the most important thing on this unit is 아리랑. So you have to know what is this song and what is the meaning and how's the feeling about Korean, about the 아리랑. So important thing. So paradoxically, I will not handle this 아리랑 in this video because it is you have to try to understand what is the meaning of 아리랑. Then you have your own feeling. That is the most important thing. Yeah, I'm sure 아리랑, when I hear the 아리랑, yeah, some feeling of sadness, and maybe when I heard the 아리랑 song, I want to be more better strong person because sadness as a weaker in the history about Korea Peninsula, near around the Korean Peninsula, sometimes Japan invaded us and China also torture us. Not only Japan and China, sometimes Russia and still now some like United States. So Korea Peninsula is so small. So when I heard the 아리랑 song, I hope I want to be more strong person, and I hope my country be more strong. But that is my feeling, not your feeling. So try to listen 아리랑 and try to understand, and I hope make your own feeling about the 아리랑, and you have to define the what is 아리랑. On your textbook there is explanation about 아리랑. So you by yourself have to define the 아리랑. Okay, so let's move on to cultural heritage. Before we start the heritage, what is your best place, or what is your best see, or what is your best thing about the Korean cultural heritage? To me, I have two places that is the cultural heritage to me. So first thing is 석굴암.
꽉 들어찬 듯한 완전함. 한치의 어긋남도 용납하지 않을 것 같은 엄격함. 1200여 년 전 신라인들이 완성한 동아시아 불교 조각 최고의 걸작 석굴암.
So first thing is 석굴암 in the 불국사. It is 경주. So 석굴암 is statue of Buddha. So yeah, because I'm living in Busan and Gyeongju is nearby. So when we go to field trip, we usually go to Gyeongju. So maybe 3 or 4 times I went there. At that time, I hate to hike because the temple was usually in the mountain. But Seokguram is my number one choice in Korea. Even if nowadays I'm not going frequently to the Seokguram, but I cannot forget the first feeling when I watched that statue. So Seokguram is my first place, and second one is 경복궁, like a Gwanghwamun subway station. When I first went to Gwanghwamun place, wow, so straight way, and in there is King Sejong and General Lee, and also Blue House. Blue House is the president house. It means the best number one person in Korea living in with that view site. So yeah, whenever I have difficulty in my life, when I study in Seoul, I usually go to Gwanghwamun and watch Gyeongbokgung, and there is Starbucks. And usually Starbucks in Korea, they use the English, but in the Gwanghwamun Starbucks area, by Korean letter, there is Starbucks. So I took one coffee and go to Gyobo Library in the Gwanghwamun. So big every book there is. So yeah, two place. Even if I live in the another country, I will miss not my house, but the Seokguram and Gwanghwamun area with the Gyeongbok Palace is my best place. And now, nothing more, just two places. So how about you? What is your best place to visit in Korea? So that is my personal opinion. So in this unit, they dealing with some history. Yeah, they cannot help but deal with the historical matter because the heritage is come from the history, from the past. So this here, you need to know some concept. It's like a Joseon is like a long time ago. So now it is China area, part of China. But as a Korean, I think that is the Korean territory. So anyway, so one thing you have to know is Silla. That is the history of Korea. So long time ago, at first with the Dangun grandfather, Dangun 할아버지 set 고조선, and then blah 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 blah, and then the first thing is Silla. Is the reason the Silla is important is the first unified. Before Silla, there is a part, but first the Silla unified the Korean peninsula, and the capital city of unified Silla is Gyeongju. Yeah, Gyeongju. Nowadays still Gyeongju. So there are so many historic places in Gyeongju. And then we gotta move to Goryeo Dynasty. The Goryeo Dynasty's capital is Kaesong, and Kaesong is now in the North Korea. So I never went there, so I don't know what is there. I hope someday, after unification of Korea, I want to see and watch and touch the relics in Kaesong, but now it is impossible to go there. So after Goryeo Dynasty, there is Joseon Dynasty. Maybe you heard sometime about Joseon Dynasty. The Joseon Dynasty, the capital is Hanyang, so it is nowadays Seoul. And now 대한민국 capital is Seoul. So at least you need to familiar with the language. 신라, unified 신라, the capital is Gyeongju, and Goryeo is you don't need to care about it. So at first, before I prepare the video, I just know that after 신라 it is Joseon. So I'm so stupid. Yeah, between there is Goryeo, but as a South Korean, it is not that familiar like a Hanyang. Yeah, I usually went to Hanyang and Gyeongju, but Kaesong. So only thing Kaesong is relating to is Kaesong 손만두. So dim sum. So yeah, so 신라 unified 신라 is a Gyeongju area as a capital, and Joseon Dynasty is Seoul and Hanyang, and nowadays Seoul is Hanyang. But look at here. So in the unified 신라 area, the south is 신라, the north is Balhae. But nowadays, here is the Korean peninsula. So those area is now the China territory. But historically, yeah, it was our Korean territory. But Chinese, they said it is their culture. No. Historically and factual information is the South 신라, North Balhae area. So that is the 신라, unified 신la peninsula, and maybe 신la dynasty. So 신la dynasty is the first unified dynasty. It has so many higher culture, and still now, if you visit Gyeongju, you can see the luxurious culture of 신la. And I think I'm the son of the Gyeongju, not the Seoul, not the Joseon Dynasty. So Seoul, Joseon, Hanyang is their son of treason. Maybe our ancestors have been living in Busan, so I'm the offspring of the 신la Dynasty, not the Joseon Dynasty. Joseon is a treason man. So yeah, the 신la. So if you come to 신la, you can see some different, a little bit different, but nowadays, sadly, because of the bad Chinese, Japanese, they invade a lot and they destroy everything. Like for example, the Seokgulam, the Japanese want to steal it. They want to move it. So at first, when the Seokgulam made, we use the nature. So by helping of nature's power, the statues don't need to care about the humidity. But the Japanese, they broke down and want to carry it to the Japan. Sorry for noisiness, the motorcycle. So because of Japan nowadays, the Buddha needs some scientific steamer, boiler, because they ruin the statues. It means, yeah, when Japan invade Korea, they also think it is the culturally high level. What I said? I don't know. So anyway, so 신라 is the Gyeongju area, and Joseon Dynasty is just before nowadays Korea. So the last dynasty, Joseon and Seoul. That is you need to know. So here at first Gyeongju was capital, and then moved to Kaesong is the second capital, and nowadays the Hanyang is capital. So from south to north and down, and where should be the next capital? So the North Korea's capital is Pyongyang here. So yeah, among the Koreans, some people say we need to move the capital because the Seoul is so crowded. But I don't know, I have no idea, because I'm not the son of the Joseon Dynasty. I'm the son of unified 신la Dynasty. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, the clear thing is 신la, Joseon, Gyeongju, Seoul. Those things you need to remember for the understanding, for the easiness of this unit. And again, arirang is so important. So you should try to understand the meaning of arirang. Okay, so let's move on to vocabulary section. So in the vocabulary sections, if you are familiar with the Sino language, Chinese letter, so yu san, so yu is like a remain, and 산 in here is give birth. Also, 산 is like a 재산, the asset, money is 산. So 유산 is the main asset. So like a 유산 is a legacy and heritage. So 문화유산, cultural heritage, and 자연유산 is a nature heritage, and 무형유산, 무형 is a mu is no, so 형 is shape, so no shape, it means intangible, cannot touch it, intangible legacy, and 기록 is a record, 기록 유산. So when it comes to heritage, there's four kinds of heritage. First thing is culture, nature, 무형, intangible, and records. So four types of legacy, heritage, and 문화재. As I said, 문화 is culture, 재 is 재산, asset. So cultural asset, that is 문화재, and also 유적지. 지 is the place, and 유적 is history. So 유적지 is historic place, and 유물, muls are things, and 유물, 유 is remain, so remains from the history. So 유물 is relics, and 창덕궁, so blah blah 궁 is a palace. So 창덕궁, 경복궁, blah blah 궁 is someone, the king or queen live there. 궁, 불국사, blah blah 사 is temple, and 훈민정음 해례본 is I gotta deal with specifically in here, and 판소리, 소리 is sound, and 판소리 is a song, traditional song of Korea.
사랑가로 논이 난디 이리 오너라 업고 놀자 이리 오너라 업고 놀자 사랑 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 내 사랑이야.
And 성산 일충울봉 is a 봉 is like a summit in the mountain. So, but 성산 일출봉 is maybe in the ocean, in the Jeju Island. Let's deal with deeply later. So, 훈민정음, it is so important because you guys are learning Korean language. Maybe some of you already knew that, some of you don't know. In Korea, as a Korean, I learned national language rather than Korean language. In the school, like in the public school, there is no subject of Korean. There is only national language. So someone who major in national language, 훈민정음, is so important. But I didn't major national language. I majored in English education and teaching Korean as foreign language. So 훈민정음 is not that important. Just the first language or some historic relic about Korean language. That's all. But thanks to you, for making this video, I also studied about what is 훈민정음 at first time. Thank you again. So 훈민정음 itself is name of Korean language character, that is 훈민정음. So there is two types of 훈민정음, 예의 and 해례. So 예의, 세종대왕이 직접 한글을 만든 이유와 한글의 사용법. So King Sejong himself wrote the reason of making Korean and how to use it. So why and how to use the Korean language letters, right? And 해례 is 집현전, is another party, study group of 학사, is scholars. So 집현전 scholar들이 한글의 자음, consonant 모음을 만든 원리, making principle, and 용법 is uses를 상세하게 detailedly 설명한 것, explain. So 집현전 scholar who are under the king explain the making principle and its usage of Korean letters. So the language made based on vocal cord with historical record evidence. So here 훈민정음 해례본, it is so important because it contains both 예의, 해례. So before we discover this 훈민정음 해례본, we thought, or the scholars thought, there is two types of 훈민정음, but we realized that there is one single book which contain both 예의, 해례 in a one single book. Because of this book existence, Korean language is the only language that has supporting evidence, the record of who made it and why and how. So, like English or another language, nobody knows who made the English alphabet. But the Korean language, we have with the evidence who made it and why and how to speak it. We have the specific evidence because of those 훈민정음 해례본. That is the historically so important. Yeah, the Korean language is the only language of the history. Who made it? King Sejong. Why? For the purpose of poor person based on our vocal cords. So let's check the vocabulary here. So 불국사 is a 신라 시대, 신라 dynasty, unified 신라. 사찰 is temple, and blah blah. 궁 is 조선 시대의 궁궐, palace. 종묘 is 왕의 제사, lights, boing을 꼬신 place. 왕릉 is tomb, and 수원 화성. I don't like this textbook. It's stupid. Yeah, 수원 화성 would be 조선 시대의 fortress. It is not enough. There are so many potteries. So why the Suwon Hasong is so important? When I think of Suwon, first thing is chicken. There is a chicken street in the Suwon. And second thing is Suwon Hwasong. It's because it is a symbolic place of pragmatics. So in the King Sejong area, King Sejong, yeah, he's a loyal family. So he don't need to care about the poor person. But in the King Sejong, 장영실 was like a poor class. So yeah, in the Joseon Dynasty, there is like a caste system. So there is a nobleman and poor man. And 장영실 was not the nobleman. So it is difficult to do the government job. But King Sejong considered the pragmatic matters, the reality. So the King Sejong picked the 장영실 as a government officer, and the 장영실 by using the machine 거중기 and then made the 화성. So
이 그림 누가 그린 것이냐?
너 모르지?
숨지 않은가?
그런데 이 그림을 그린 사람은 바로
장영실이란 자가 그린 그림이옵니다. 장영실?
그때 그 장영실은 그
처음 듣는 이름인데. 장영실이 누구냐?
그때 일어나는 한 관노비. 뭐야?
넌 이 그림에 대해서 설명해 볼 수 있겠느냐?
선생님.
yeah, at that time, even if in the King Sejong, noblemen, some noblemen reject to the Korean language. They think if the older person know the letters, they are worried about their position. But King Sejong, he considered older person regardless of social position. And Suwon Hwasong is a symbolic place of the pragmatics. Without 장영실, without Sejong, there is no pragmatics in Joseon Dynasty and still to Korea, and there is no Suwon Hwasong. So yeah, so Suwon Hwasong would be just 조선 시대의 성곽. Yeah, it is a fact. But why? There's so many fortresses in Korea Peninsula. But Suwon Hwasong is a symbolic meaning of pragmatics. So King Sejong picked the person regardless of social position, and 장영실 is one example. So he invented so many machines like a sun clock. So after that sun clock, we know the time. We can expect, we can anticipate the rainy and the time. And also 거중기 is something lift. So by human itself, we cannot lift so heavy things, but by using the machine, we could lift some heavy things, so we could build the fortress more easily. That is the historical reason of Suwon Hwasong. But this textbook, just nothing. So 백록담, so like 산 정상에 있는 호수. 담 is lake. So 산 is a mountain, 정상 is summit. So on the summit there is the lake. So 백록담, and also I heard that in the lake there is monster. Do you believe it or not? But I have no idea. So 성산일출봉, so 바다 위, on the ocean, 큰 volcanic island. So yeah, 성산일출봉 is on the ocean. There is Iceland which made by volcanic event, volcanic action. And on your textbook page 63, the vocabulary 웅장하다 is grand, magnificent. So 건물 내부 inside가 웅장하다. 웅장하다, we also, when we describe the Baroque style in the Western culture, we say 바로크 양식이 웅장하다, gigantic, something big. So that is 웅장하다. So on your textbook page 64, 섭취하다 is intake, ingest. So 바이타민을 섭취하다. Is it vitamin or vitamin? As a Korean, we say vitamin. Also British say vitamin. But the American, they say vitamin. So, I don't know. Anyway, so vitamin을. So 먹다, it is okay. But 먹다 is for more general meaning. But 섭취하다 is we eat and ingest in our body. That is 섭취하다. 해결하다 is solve. So 문제를 해결하다, solve the problem. And 65, 일출 is sunrise and sunset is 일몰. So 일출 everywhere is famous, but 일몰, the best place in South Korea peninsula is 몰운대 in Busan. Because I'm the Busan person, so Haeundae is also famous for beautiful beach, but 몰운대 is famous for sunset. It is not my personal opinion, but historical record. Many scholars are surprised at the beautifulness of sunset of 몰운대. So if you have time, try to visit Gyeongju first. If you are come from the Seoul area, upper side of Korean peninsula, first thing you need to visit the Gyeongju first and then come to Busan. And 몰운대 is not that famous. It means not that crowded people. But yeah, the ocean and beach itself, Haeundae is better. But when it comes to only sunset, 몰운대 is better than 해운대. So 일몰 and 화산 작용. 화산 is volcano, 작용 is volcanic action. So let's check it by question item. 궁궐 is palace. 조선시대의 왕들이 여기에서 살았어요. Kings live here. 사찰 is a 절, temple. So 불국사, 경주 토암산, 토암산에 있는 유명한 절이에요. So in the 불국사 there is 석굴암. So actually 불국사 is not top 3 temple in Korean peninsula. Those top 3, number 1 is 통도사, number 2 is 해인사 for the 팔만대장경, number 3 is 송광사. So yeah, I never went to number 3 송광사, but at least number 1 and 2 is so important. But 불국사 is not that big level, but because of the 석굴암, the statue, temple got a level up. 호수 is lake. So 한라산 정상에 물이 고여 있는 곳이 lake. And 성곽 is a fortress. So 수원 하성, 외부의 침입을 막기 위해 돌, by stone, 벽을 쌓아 만들었어요. So stone wall. So without that 거중기 machine, it is so difficult to make it. But thanks to 거중기, we could make it easily. We can lift the stone more easily. And let's check the number 2. 경주에는 불국사, 석굴암과 같은 유명한 유적지, historic place. 목적지 is destination. Number 2, 조상들, ancestor, 남긴, remain. 유물 is relic을 통해서 과거의 생활 모습을 알 수 있다. 남긴 제품 is product, so it might be, but ancestors remain. Ancestors passing down relic is more appropriate. Number 3, 조선 왕릉은 유네스코에 등재된 세계 문화유산 cultural heritage. 기록유산 is a recording heritage, but 왕릉 is a king's tomb, is kind of cultural heritage rather than recording heritage. Number 4, 정부는 is government. 경주에 남아있는 in the 경주 remain 신라 시대의 신라 dynasty, 신라 period, 신라 시대의 문화재 is a cultural thing, cultural relics, 문화재를 보호, prevent, preserve 하기 위해 try to effort, 노력하고 있다. So let's check the number 3. So 탐방하다 is 탐험하다 is explore, 방문하다 is visit. So visit is just 방문하다, but 탐방 is you want to explore, you want to see and study more. That is 탐방하다. Visit and explore. Nominate is 지정하다, 보존하다 is preserve, 중시하다 as important, 전승하다 is pass on, inherit. So the number 1, 훌륭한, excellent 전통 문화유산, traditional cultural heritage를 지키고, so protect, 보존하여야 한다. Number 2, 정부에서는 이 지역을 보호하기 위해 국립공원, national park로 지정, nominate, 지정했다. 그는 후손들에게 후손들 is offsprings, 전통춤, traditional dance를 전승하다, pass on, 춤을 전승하기 위해 많은 노력을 했다. Number 4, 이번에는 신라 시대, 신라 area, 신라 dynasty의 역사를 배우기 위해 to learning history about 신라 경주를 탐방하기로 결정하였다. We decide to explore and visit the 경주 to study about 신라 dynasty's history. Number 4, 알려지다 is known as or announced as, 물려주다 is handed down, 둘러보다 is look around, 묻히다 is buried in the ground, 인정하다 is recognize or agree. So number 1, 세계에서는 in the world, 경주의 역사적인 가치를 historical value of 경주를 인정, they recognize the historical value of 경주. Number 2, 문화 해설사, that is a guide, but 해설 is explanation, so cultural explainer, so usually guide do that. So person who explain the culture, explain, 설명을 들으면서 궁궐, palace의 이곳저곳, here and there를 둘러봤다, look around. Number 3, 그 부부는 that couple 사이가 좋아서 good relationship, 죽은 후에도 after they died, 무덤에 tomb, 같이 together. So 무덤에 같이 묻히다 is the root of tense, so 묻혔다 is past tense or 묻힐 것이다 is a future tense. So number 4, 현대인들은 modern person, 조상들에게 받은 passed by our ancestor들, 후손들 is offspring, 물려주다 is hand down to the offspring, 물려주기 위해 노력하고 있다. So we record a lot. So I hope this video would be the heritage of our offspring. Number 5, 1940년에 발견된 훈민정음 해례본은 발견되다 is discovered. In 1940 훈민정음 해례본은 역사적 가치, historical value가 크다고 알려진, known as big historical value of 훈민정음 해례본은 like a cultural heritage because it contains the historical record, who made it, why and how about Korean language as character. So let's move on to usage. So 얼마나 불났는지 모르다 is a paradox because 모르다 is don't know, but the meaning is I do know but you don't know how much it is, blah blah, how much it is important or how much it expensive, something like that. I do know, but say don't know is telling a lie. So the Jennifer say this means I don't know how much something is in a hypothetical way. Yes, a hypothetical way. It can be used as exaggerate or show that something is a lot. So like I think it's showing bombastic. Like I know that, but you guys don't know that you stupid, something like you don't know, you cannot esteem that value, but I know, something like that. So when someone want to express emphasis or bombastic, showing off. So 얼마나 인기 있는지 몰라요. I do know, but you don't know how famous it is. And 얼마나 과학적으로 만들어졌는지 몰라요. I know that is scientific, but you guys maybe don't know. But I know that. I want showing off my knowledge, something like that. So you have no idea how much scientifically it made. But I know that, and it is. So it's a hypothetical. 해운대 야경이 얼마나 화려한지 몰라요. 해운대's night view is so splendid. That is the speaker want to say. 경주에 옛 유물이 얼마나 많은지 몰라요. So Gyeongju has many relics, that's all. But I do know, but you maybe don't know how many relics are in Gyeongju. Just way of speaking. So when it comes to verb, regardless of 받침, you use 는지 모르다. When it comes to adjective, 받침 exists, non exists, and 리을 받침, and the noun 명사 use this way. So like this one is a little bit tricky one here, but let's check it by question item of this one. 동생이 아리랑을 얼마나 잘 부르는지 몰라요. So the speaker know that the brothers speak well of 아리랑, but say 몰라요. It's a hypocritic. Number 2, 바쁘신데도 도와줘서 얼마나 고마운지 몰라요. 나는 고마워요. I'm really thank you, but 고마운지 몰라요. 얼마나 고마운지 모르겠어요. It's like a showing off, like exaggerate something. Number 3, 휴대전화를 잊어버려서 losing cell phone 얼마나 불편한지 몰라요. Number 4, 제주도로 여행을 다녀왔는데 얼마나 좋았는지 몰라요. It's funny. 좋았는지 몰라요. Like it. It's your feeling. But why you don't know that? 좋았는지 몰라요. So maybe it's, I think it is one kind of humbleness. So I know that, but I know that, but I don't know. So it's like a humbleness, but also exaggerate. Number 1, 네, 희애 씨가 얼마나 노력하는지 몰라요. Number 2, 낮에도 멋있지만 야경이 얼마나 아름다운지 몰라요. It's not mosquito. Number 3, 처음 한국어를 배울 때 CD를 들으면서 얼마나 열심히 연습했는지 몰라요. Number 4, 네, 얼마나 괜찮은 사람인지 몰라요. So next usage is 든지, whether A or B. It's super easy, so we don't need to care about the 받침 exists or not. So yeah, it's so easy. So 내 친구는 방이 깨끗하든지 더럽든지 쉽든지 어렵든지 노래를 부르든지 단 음식을 먹든지 책으로 공부하든지 유적지를 가든지. I think there's no reason to explain about this one. That's all, A or B. Okay, so let's jump up to listening. So 우수성 is excellence, superiority, and 인정받다 is be recognized or appreciated. 지편전 학자. So 지편전 is one party of study group under the King 세종. So 학자 is scholars, and 본뜨다 is modeled, copied. So the Korean language Hangul is a 본뜨다 of our vocal code. That is 본뜨다. So listening script here. So it's your job. Try to listen and let's check the answer shortly. 무엇에 관한 내용입니까? What contains 한글의 우수성? So Korean letters superiority or excellence of Korean letter. So 세종대왕인 King 세종 and 한글날. So Korean state festival 행사. So number 1, 한글이 만들어지기 전에는 before made Korean letters 한국의 고유 문자가 we don't have our own letters written language 없었다. There is no. Yeah. So only noble guys can understand the Sino Chinese letter, and the poor man, they don't have any written language, so they cannot read. Yeah, they just can speak, but they cannot read and write. So King Sejong think that poor person want to care about it, so let them. And especially, so 나라 말씀이 중국에 달라. So our language is different from China. So not all person can read and write. Most of them are illiterate. So King Sejong take them as poor, so make the Korean letter to easily read and write. Number 2, 세종대왕은 한글보다 더 배우기 쉬운 문자를 만들려고 노력했다. No, rather than 한글, maybe 한자, the Sino language. The Sino is so difficult, so not all person, because every person have to work. So only noble men have a lot of time, don't need to work. They're learning the Chinese letter, Sino letter. So 세종대왕은 maybe 한자보다 더 배우기 쉬운 문자를 만들어 노력했을 것이다. Number 3, 일반 한국인을 위한 강의 내용이다. So this lecture is for general Korean. I don't know, let's check the script first. Number 3, 강의를 들은 후에 사람들이 무엇에 대해 이야기할 것 같습니까? After this lecture, what the people are talking about. So Number 2, 한글과 다른 문자의 차이점과 공통점. So Korean letters, other letters, 차이점 is difference, 공통점 is similarity. So those are the vocabulary here. So in the script, let's check it together. 안녕하십니까? Hello. 오늘 강의, today's lecture. October 9, that is the Korean day, Korean language day. 한글날을 맞아 한국의 문화유산, Korean's cultural heritage, 한글에 대해 다시 한번 again think, reflect, 생각해보고 여러분이 you guys 한글을 처음 배울 때의 경험에 대해서도 이야기해 보겠습니다. So 여러분, you guys 한글을 처음 배울 때, so maybe it's toward the foreigner. So to the Korean, we never say 한글을 처음 배울 때. It might be, but let's check it more deeply. 여러분, you guys, 현재 우리는 말을 글로 쓰는 것이 당연한 시대를 살고 있습니다. 시대 is the time period, era. So 그 말 is speak, 글 is writing. So we are living in the period that take for granted that writing down what we speak. So we are living in the time when take granted for writing down what we speak. 하지만, yeah, in the long time ago, we cannot writing down what we speak in the Joseon Dynasty because the person don't know the Chinese letter, and Chinese letter, Sino, is so difficult to learn. 하지만 만약 if 우리가 하는 말을 기록하는 문자가 없었다면 어떨까요? What if there isn't no letter that writing down our speech? 한글이 만들어지기 이전에 before make the 한글, 한국 사람들은 어땠을까요? How was it to the Korean? 잠시 후 later. 그렇습니다. Yes, 한국어를 기록하는 고유의 글자가 없어서 there's no special their own letter to record Korean. 백성들이 무척 불편함을 겪었습니다. So 백성 is not the civilian. Usually 백성 is people under king. So little bit different matter. I never say you as a 백성 because 백성 is who are under me, under the protection of me. So nowadays we never say even just civilian. 시민 is more common, but 백성 we never say 백성 to the civilian. So 백성들이, so people under king, 무척 불편함을 겪었습니다. Uncomfortable. 그래서 so 세종대왕은 King 세종 with the scholars together 문자 생활을, it's the letter life를 편하게 하도록 to make it easy 위해 한글을 Korean letters 창제하게 되었습니다. So 창제하다 is make 만들다, but 창제 하다 is make Korean language. So usually when we describe the Korean language letter, we say 한글을 창제하다. But 한글을 만들다. That is more easy because King Sejong hope every person use the easy language. But still now, maybe same as English, like some vocabularies are French words like that. So 창제하다. It's too much. So 만들다. So anyway, 한글을 만들었습니다. King 세종은 for the easiness for all person. 한글은 Korean language 전 세계적으로 all over the world 우수성을 인정받는 they recognize their excellence 받고 있는 scientific letter 과학적인 문자로 known as, introduced as 알려져 있습니다. 여러분도 잘 알고 있는 것처럼 you guys know well 한글은 소리 글자 is a sounds based language and 자음과 모음 자음 is a consonant 모음 is a vowel로 이루어져 있습니다. Composed of consonant and vowel which is sound language. The vowel is 하늘 sky 땅 is land 사람 is person의 shape를 바탕으로 기본 문자가 만들어졌습니다. They gotta say 천지인 something like that. 천지인 또 자음자는 the consonant 발음 기관 발음 is pronounced 기관 is your organ so your vocal cord 발음 기관인 모양을 본떠 so copied made by your vocal cord 을 본떠 기본 문자 basic letter가 만들어졌습니다. being composed being made 이런 원리를 잘 알면 this principle you know well 한글을 배우기가 learning Korean become more easier if you understand the vocal cord and how the Korean language letter compose of 여러분은 한글을 이해하고 배우는데 얼마나 걸렸습니까? How long does it take you understand and learning Korean? 여러분이 알고 있는 다른 문자와 한글은 어떤 so 여러분 is you guys 알고 있는 already knew that maybe your mother tongue 다른 문자 another letter and Korean which difference and similarity you have so usually it is lecture to the foreigner so because if it is a mother tongue so 여러분이 알고 있는 다른 문자 if mother tongue is Korean we don't know another letter so let's check the vocabulary here so yeah, I wrote here and 백성 is a people under king. So someone who underuse only king use it. 백성. Like if nowadays the president say 우리 백성들. No, it's impossible. So here Korean 한글 is Korean letters and 한국어 is Korean language. So Korean letters is scientific. Yeah, it is. But Korean language it's not scientific. There are so many irregular verbal change. I know that. So 한국어 is not 과학적. At least 한글 letter is scientific. So here, number 2, the reason X is we don't know here. And furthermore, it's not for 한글, maybe 한자, but it's my background knowledge. So based on this script, we don't know. And number 3, 일반 한국인을 위한 강의는 maybe no. And after this lecture, the person gotta how long does it take you learning Korean? So first thing and the similarity and the difference among another letters. So let's check the vocabulary on your textbook page 67. So 탐방 is explore 세계문화유산으로 지정하다 appoint nominate as world cultural heritage 문화재를 preserve 보존하다 문화유산을 전승 transmission pass down hand down that is 전승하다. So this reading passage I want to make different style. So here by sentence I translate the language. So first thing is without this transcription you try to figuring out the meaning of this paragraph. So don't worry, in this video you can see the translation, but I hope you guys by yourself alone translate or understand that passage. And here it is not that difficult. Here is the answer here. Here is the translation of reading passage. Sentence one sentence by sentence. I translate it. So it is your homework. I think you guys can do it. And let's quickly check the vocabulary. 묻다 is bury or ask, being asked. 묻다 or ask. But here, using as bury and 묻히다 is being buried. And those are the vocabulary here. Then here, the answer is not that difficult. So it is your homework. I hope you guys do it. So I just dreaming of someday without me, you guys can understand Korean well. And yeah, here is the translation of Korean language. So stop the video, and again, some of you already read it and some of you are not. So regardless of your background knowledge, try to understand those passages and then compare with my translation. And I always say I'm not the native English speaker, so my English is not that perfect. So please give me your opinion, or please collect my English, change my English more better English. To do that, you need to understand Korean language, right? So that's all for the Unit 5 Cultural Heritage, and don't forget to try to search about the arirang is the most important thing. And also another homework is what is your best place or best thing or best heritage in Korea? Please let me know by your comment. I'm look forward to your comment, because yeah, sometimes I want to know, or I want to see by foreigners or by immigrants' eye, because Korea is my hometown, it's my country, so everything is familiar to me. But I want to see foreign eyes, alien eyes to my country. So please share your eyes to my country. That's all for class. Thank you for watching my video, and don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe my video, and yeah, you can introduce my video whoever. Let's see you on Unit 6. Bye bye.